Check that you have all of your patterns. Front top, front facing, back top. Back skirt, front right skirt, front left skirt. Collar, cuff. Sew the back top panels together along the center back with a 1 cm seam allowance. Sew the front and back top panels together along the shoulder and side seam with a 1 cm seam allowance. Repeat on the other side. Fold the sleeve cuff into half and sew along the short edge with a 1 cm seam allowance. Spread the seams open and iron well. Flip the sleeve cuff inside out. Baste 0.5 cm along the open edge to seal them up. Sew the sleeve cuff to the sleeve opening with a 1 cm seam allowance. Match up the seam on the sleeve cuff to the side seam. Once that is done, overlock the seam. Repeat on the other side. Fold the collar into half and sew along the short edge with a 1 cm seam allowance. Grab a pair of scissors and snip into the seam allowances to reduce the bulk. Turn it inside out and iron well. Mark out the notches on the collar and the neckline. Align the collar to the neckline, making sure to match up the notches. Pin them together to secure. Match up the collar notch, shoulder seam notch. On the other side, the shoulder seam notch and the collar notch. Taking the front facing, align it to the neckline. Match up the notch on the front facing to the shoulder seam. Pin to secure. Sew the panels together with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, starting exactly at the shoulder seam. Repeat for the other side. Align the front facing to the neckline. And match up the shoulder seam notch to the shoulder seam. Pin to secure. Then sew the panels together with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, starting exactly at the shoulder seam. Grab a pair of scissors and snip into the seam allowances to reduce tension. Make sure to snip exactly at the shoulder seam. Push away the top collar panel and sew the bottom 2 layers together with a 1 centimeter seam allowance from shoulder seam all the way to the other shoulder seam. From the right side, check that the back neckline has no folds or puckering. Make corrections if necessary. Snip into the seam allowances to reduce tension. Push up all the seam allowances and iron well. Tuck in the top collar panel so that it covers the stitches below. If the stitches are still visible, reduce the amount that you're folding. Iron well. From the right side, sew in the ditch from shoulder to shoulder seam. On the wearer's right, understitch on the front facing. Start by pushing all the seam allowances towards the facing and iron well. Understitch on the front facing, making sure to catch onto the seam allowances below. On the wearer's left, flip the facing and sew across the front facing with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, stopping exactly at the notch. Grabbing a pair of scissors, snip exactly into the notch. and trim away the seam allowances to reduce the bulk. Understitch on the front facing. To start, push the seam allowances towards the facing and iron well. Then understitch on the front facing, making sure to catch onto the seam allowances below. Starting 1 centimeter from the top, sew the zipper to the left and right front skirt panels with a 1.5 cm seam allowance. Finish up the rest of the seam with a 1.5 cm seam allowance. Sew the front and back skirt panels together along the side seams with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Fold up the skirt hem by 1.5 cm and iron well. Top stitch 1 centimeter from the folded edge. Match up the front top, whereas right, and the right skirt panel. Fold in the zip so that the zip teeth matches the start of the panel and the side seams match up. Place them right sides together. Take the facing and flip it over. Sew all panels together with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Grab a pair of scissors and snip into the seam allowances to reduce the bulk. Turn it inside out. And iron well. Match the front top, whereas left, to the left skirt panel. Fold in the zip so the zipper teeth matches the notch and the side seams match up. Place them right sides together. Flip the front facing and sew all the panels together with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Turn it inside out and iron well. Finish up the rest of the waist seam with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Hand sew a set of snap buttons to secure the inner flap. And there you have it, your dress is completed.